The world is alive with quiet, timeless forces, and some of its most magnificent expressions lie hidden in the heart of the mountains. These are not ordinary peaks that simply rise to touch the sky. They are ancient sentinels of fire and stone, shaped by forces that have worked for millions of years. From afar, a mountain might seem still, serene, even gentle, but beneath its silent exterior, it holds an energy both powerful and patient. Lava courses through hidden chambers, slowly molding the land, creating shapes that will endure far beyond the life of any human. It is here, in these burning mountains, that the earth reveals its quiet drama, a story of creation and destruction woven together in a rhythm as old as time itself. As we move closer, the mountain slopes unfold like pages of a storybook written in fire and rock. Streams of molten lava glow faintly in the fading light of the evening sun, casting an amber reflection on jagged stones that seem black in contrast. The air is thick with warmth, scented with minerals and a faint trace of smoke that drifts lazily, curling into shapes that look almost like wisps of a dream. You can imagine the slow, almost musical bubbling of the earth, the hum of energy vibrating under the surface. There is no rush here, no hurry. Everything moves in a rhythm that is measured in centuries, yet it feels immediate when you stand close enough to witness it. Down the mountain, rivers formed from melted snow and rainwater wind their way through valleys. Some are wide and shallow, sparkling in the sun as they cascade over stones, while others carve narrow channels through dark rock, whispering secrets only the mountains could understand. The contrast is striking: fire and water, lava and river, each shaping the land in its own way, each patient, persistent, eternal. It is a dance of opposites, yet perfectly balanced. The rivers carry the mountain's story to the wider world, flowing calmly even as they pass near streams of glowing lava, absorbing the heat, reflecting the color, and creating a visual symphony that feels both alive and strangely meditative. At night, the mountains change character. The lava glows brighter in the darkness, a beacon of warmth and movement against the cool, quiet sky. Stars twinkle above, indifferent to the earth's slow toil below, yet they seem to belong to the same story. A gentle wind stirs through the valleys, rustling the sparse vegetation clinging to the rocks, carrying with it the scent of mineral-rich soil and faint traces of sulfur. There is a softness to this moment, a serenity that contrasts with the power beneath the surface. It is a reminder that even the most intense forces can coexist with peace, and that the Earth's might is not always loud. Sometimes, it is measured, calm, and hypnotically beautiful. Walking along a riverbank at the foot of a burning mountain, you notice small details that make the scene even more enchanting. Stones smoothed by centuries of water, tiny rivulets splitting off to nourish moss and delicate plants, the occasional flash of movement as a nocturnal creature ventures close to the water's edge. Every element seems deliberate, each a part of a larger, coherent world. There is a rhythm here that you can feel in your chest if you pause long enough, a heartbeat of the planet itself, slow but steady, guiding all life and all matter through cycles of creation, erosion, and renewal. The colors, too, are mesmerizing. Lava glows with deep oranges and reds, rivers reflect the soft blues and silvers of the night sky, and the rocks, scorched and cracked, hold shadows that move as the wind brushes past. Even the trees and shrubs, hardy and persistent, form silhouettes that seem to dance gently in the moonlight. It is as if the world has painted itself in layers, each layer telling a story, and every detail contributes to a visual symphony that invites calm and focus. For a viewer, there is something hypnotic in observing these scenes, the way fire moves, the way water flows, the way earth holds it all together. In the quiet moments, you can almost hear the mountain thinking. The lava does not rush, it flows with purpose, tracing a path that has been carved over millennia. The rivers do not complain, they glide patiently over stones, carrying tiny particles of rock and soil downstream, reshaping the land gently but persistently. Together, fire and water, rock and wind, mountain and river, tell a story of endurance, patience, and balance. There is wisdom here, silent and profound, a reminder that the earth works on its own time, and that our human sense of urgency is small in comparison to the age of these natural forces. As night deepens, the scene softens even further. The lava's glow is a comforting orange-red, casting a warm light that feels almost like a lullaby for the mountains themselves. The rivers reflect the stars and moon, shimmering like threads of silver in the darkness. Winds carry whispers from distant valleys, brushing the rocks and trees in a rhythm that can almost be counted like a slow, steady pulse. You could stay here forever, immersed in the gentle drama of creation and transformation, lulled by the balance between power and tranquility. It is this combination of movement and stillness, fire and water, that makes burning mountains and flowing rivers not only fascinating to watch but profoundly relaxing to experience. And so, the story begins here, with the mountains breathing slowly, rivers meandering, and the night sky stretching endlessly above. It is an introduction to a world where every element has a purpose, every motion is deliberate, and every detail contributes to the larger rhythm of life. The viewer is invited to slow down, to watch, to breathe, and to let the planet's slow, ancient heartbeat guide them into calmness, wonder, and a gentle, sleepy awareness that is both cinematic and deeply soothing. Beneath the mountain's seemingly calm surface lies a world of quiet, persistent movement. Lava, molten and glowing, travels through hidden tunnels deep within the earth, moving slowly but inexorably, carving paths that have existed for centuries. It is easy to imagine this flow as a river of fire, invisible to those who only observe the surface, yet shaping everything it touches with careful, deliberate patience. As it creeps forward, it melts the old rock, reshapes the channels, and pushes toward the mountain's edge, always guided by gravity, pressure, and the invisible hand of the planet itself. In this hidden world, time moves differently. Minutes and hours are insignificant compared to the slow, patient forces shaping the land below. Above ground, the mountain's exterior reflects the hidden activity beneath. Cracks in the rock occasionally glow faintly, revealing the molten river flowing underneath. Tiny plumes of smoke escape from vents, twisting and curling as they rise into the air, blending with the cool mountain breeze. The contrast between the hot, moving lava beneath and the still, solid mountain above is striking, a delicate balance between creation and preservation. This hidden energy, though powerful, is never chaotic. It follows a rhythm, a silent order that has been perfected over millennia, and watching it inspires a quiet awe, a deep respect for the natural world and its processes. The surrounding ecosystem is equally fascinating. At the edges of lava flows, hardy plants cling to life in the nutrient-rich soil, absorbing minerals that have been deposited over centuries. Mosses and lichens spread across scorched rocks, their colors muted yet beautiful under the soft light of the sun or moon. Insects move slowly, almost imperceptibly, as they navigate the shifting landscape, and small mammals find shelter in crevices that remain cool despite the heat of the nearby lava. Each element, from fire to plant, from rock to insect, plays a role in this quiet orchestra of survival and adaptation. The viewer begins to sense the delicate interdependence that sustains life in even the harshest environments. Rivers, formed from melted snow and rainwater, flow serenely near these lava channels, providing contrast and balance to the fiery currents beneath the surface. Their waters are clear and cold, glistening as they twist and turn around stones polished smooth by centuries of passage. The gentle sound of water flowing over rocks adds a soft, natural music to the scene, complementing the visual warmth of lava with an auditory coolness. Occasionally, small waterfalls appear, their cascading waters forming miniature rainbows in the light, creating moments of beauty that feel both spontaneous and timeless. It is as if the mountain itself orchestrates this interplay between heat and coolness, fire and water, chaos and calm, inviting the observer into a meditation on balance and harmony. As the sun begins to dip toward the horizon, shadows lengthen across the mountain slopes, and the lava's glow becomes more pronounced, casting an amber light on the rocks and surrounding vegetation. Trees, resilient and strong, lean gently away from the warmth of the lava, their branches moving softly in the mountain breeze. Birds return to hidden nests, their silhouettes barely visible against the darkening sky. Even the wind seems to recognize the mountain's rhythm, brushing lightly across the slopes, carrying with it the scent of minerals and faint traces of smoke. There is a sense of intimacy in this scene, as if the observer has been allowed access to a private, ancient ritual that has continued unnoticed for eons. Nightfall transforms the landscape further. The lava's glow contrasts starkly with the deep blues and blacks of the surrounding rock and sky. Stars appear overhead, their light reflecting on distant rivers and glimmering on droplets of moisture clinging to leaves. The wind, soft but persistent, rustles the sparse vegetation, creating a gentle, almost hypnotic melody. Shadows dance across the rocks, elongating and shifting as the mountain continues its slow, eternal work. Observing these moments, the viewer is drawn into a meditative state, their attention held not by loud or sudden events but by the subtle, persistent rhythms of nature at work. Creatures adapted to this environment reveal themselves gradually. Small mammals cautiously emerge from their hiding spots, sniffing the air, sensing both danger and opportunity. Insects trace invisible paths across rocks, their delicate movements a contrast to the overwhelming power of the lava flows nearby. Even the occasional bird ventures near the riverbank, dipping to drink before retreating to the safety of the forested slopes. These subtle interactions, often unnoticed by the casual observer, add depth and life to the scene, reinforcing the sense that even in extreme conditions, life adapts, persists, and thrives in harmony with the forces shaping the land. The visual beauty of this scene is matched by the lessons it conveys. Lava, while destructive, creates fertile soil. Water, while gentle, carves the land with persistence. Rock and wind interact over millennia to shape valleys, cliffs, and plateaus. Each element, each movement, is part of a larger system that functions with patience and precision, a reminder of the scale and rhythm of nature. For the viewer, the slow unfolding of these forces encourages reflection, calmness, and a sense of connection to the planet's timeless processes. It is a scene meant not to shock or overwhelm, but to soothe, educate, and inspire a quiet, meditative attention. By the end of this section, the mountain, the lava, the rivers, and the surrounding ecosystem have revealed themselves as parts of a single, cohesive story. Fire and water, heat and coolness, movement and stillness, all exist together in a balance that feels both cinematic and profoundly relaxing. The viewer has been guided gently into this world, introduced to its rhythms, and invited to linger in its beauty. As the scene fades toward the soft, muted darkness of night, there is a sense of anticipation. The mountain story is far from over, and the journey ahead promises further exploration, deeper understanding, and even more cinematic moments of wonder and serenity. As the night deepens, the hidden rivers of lava slowly make their way to the mountain's surface, emerging from cracks and vents that glow like the eyes of some ancient creature. The molten rock moves with a deliberate grace, flowing slowly, almost hypnotically, over blackened stones that seem to absorb its heat. The air around the lava shimmers softly, carrying the scent of minerals and sulfur, while gentle currents of warm wind rise from the cracks, merging with the cooler mountain breeze. It is a quiet, steady performance, a show of raw power tempered by patience, and the observer cannot help but feel a mix of awe and tranquility as the molten rivers snake through the terrain. Small eruptions punctuate the night, but they are not violent or chaotic. Instead, they are brief, gentle bursts of fire and smoke, as if the mountain is exhaling slowly, releasing tension in measured intervals. Sparks flicker and fade into the darkness, illuminating jagged rocks and sparse vegetation in fleeting moments of warmth. The soft crackling and hissing sounds of molten rock meeting cooler stone create a natural soundtrack that is both soothing and mesmerizing, like a slow, meditative drumbeat. In these moments, the viewer's attention is drawn not to abrupt action, but to the subtle, hypnotic rhythm of creation itself. Nearby rivers, formed from melted snow and rainwater, reflect the orange glow of the lava, their surfaces shimmering with light that dances gently with every ripple. Water flows quietly around stones, over moss-covered banks, and through narrow channels, carrying traces of the mountain's warmth along its course. Occasionally, small waterfalls appear, their cascading waters forming delicate patterns of light and shadow. The combination of glowing lava and reflective water creates a cinematic scene that feels almost otherworldly, yet deeply calming. It is a visual harmony that balances heat and coolness, movement and stillness, fire and water. Wildlife observes this slow drama from a distance, moving cautiously in response to the subtle changes in light and heat. Nocturnal creatures stir from hidden dens, their eyes glinting in the lava's glow. Small mammals approach the riverbanks to drink, pausing to sniff the warm air rising from the molten rock. Insects trace the edges of cooled lava, their delicate forms contrasting with the flowing fire nearby. Even birds, usually silent at night, are occasionally glimpsed flying low over the rivers, silhouetted against the orange light. Every movement is deliberate, every creature aware of the delicate balance between the mountain's power and the calm persistence of life surrounding it. The textures of the landscape are mesmerizing. Jagged rocks, cooled and hardened by past lava flows, provide a dark, dramatic backdrop to the glowing rivers. Cracks in the stone reveal glimpses of molten red beneath, like veins of life hidden within the mountain. Mosses and lichens cling to the edges of cooled lava, their muted greens and grays softening the harshness of rock and fire. Trees, though sparse, sway gently in the mountain breeze, their branches casting elongated shadows that move rhythmically across the slopes. Even the smallest details, the flicker of light on a stone, the glint of water on a leaf, the movement of a distant insect, contribute to the cinematic and meditative quality of the scene. The mountain itself seems alive, breathing slowly as lava rises, flows, and occasionally bursts through the surface. It is a subtle, hypnotic pulse, a rhythm that can be felt more than heard. The glow of molten rock illuminates patterns in the stone, tracing ancient paths and showing the long, patient work of nature over centuries. Shadows shift across valleys and ridges, creating a sense of depth and perspective that draws the viewer further into the landscape. Watching this scene encourages a gentle focus, a slow immersion into the mountain's world, where time feels both expansive and intimate. Sound plays a key role in this experience. The faint hiss of lava meeting cooled stone, the soft murmur of water flowing nearby, the rustle of leaves and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures, all blend into a subtle, continuous symphony. There is no rush, no abrupt interruptions, only a steady, rhythmic interplay of natural sounds that guide the viewer into a meditative state. The gentle cadence of these elements mirrors the slow movement of lava and rivers, reinforcing the hypnotic, relaxing quality of the scene. Colors, too, are carefully balanced. The orange and red hues of molten lava contrast with the deep blues and blacks of the night sky. Reflections in the rivers create shimmering ribbons of silver and amber, while cooled rocks provide a dark, neutral canvas that highlights the vibrancy of fire and water. Sparse vegetation adds touches of green and gray, softening the stark contrasts and contributing to the overall harmony of the scene. Every element feels intentional, designed to hold the viewer's attention while also promoting calm, reflective observation. As the night progresses, the molten rivers continue their slow journey, shaping the mountain and surrounding valleys with patient persistence. Water flows alongside them, carrying warmth and light across the landscape, while wind and wildlife respond gently to the subtle shifts in temperature and movement. This is a world in which every detail matters, where fire and water, rock and life, interact in a balanced, almost choreographed performance. The viewer is invited to observe, to immerse, and to relax, guided by the mountain's quiet, cinematic storytelling. By the end of this section, the scene has established a deep connection between the mountain's fiery heart and the calm persistence of surrounding life. Lava and rivers, fire and water, movement and stillness, all exist in harmony, creating a cinematic and hypnotic narrative. The viewer has been drawn into the mountain's world, encouraged to slow down, breathe, and appreciate the delicate balance between creation and persistence, heat and coolness, chaos and serenity. This is the foundation upon which the next chapters of the mountain story will unfold, continuing the slow, meditative journey through fire, stone, and flowing water. As the molten rivers of the mountain continue their patient journey, they encounter patches of resilient forest clinging to the rocky slopes. These trees, though hardy, bend and sway in the presence of the heat radiating from the flowing lava, their leaves shimmering under the glow. The interaction is neither abrupt nor destructive in the immediate sense. It is a slow negotiation between life and fire, where each element respects the presence of the other. From a distance, the scene looks almost surreal, dark green foliage illuminated by soft reds and oranges, shadows stretching and folding across the terrain as the lava's gentle glow pulses beneath the surface. The forest itself responds subtly. Branches move gently in the mountain breeze, releasing faint scents of pine, moss, and earth that mingle with the mineral-laden air rising from the molten rock. Leaves tremble as pockets of warm air brush past them, creating a quiet, almost musical rustling that harmonizes with the distant hiss of lava. Small animals sense the movement but are undisturbed, navigating carefully among the trees and rocks. A fox may pause on a distant slope, observing the glow before retreating to its hidden den. Birds, roosting quietly for the night, occasionally shift as the light and warmth reach their branches. The mountain, the lava, and the forest coexist in a delicate, almost choreographed dance that reflects the patience and balance inherent in nature. Small eruptions along the lava channels add gentle punctuation to the night. Sparks rise briefly into the air, illuminating sections of forest, rocks, and riverbanks in a fleeting glow. These bursts are never violent. They are like exhalations, brief reminders of the mountain's energy, subtle signals that life and heat are intertwined. As each spark fades, the shadows resume their slow, meditative dance, giving the observer a rhythm to follow, a gentle heartbeat that aligns the mind with the movements of the mountain. The contrast between fire and vegetation, between stillness and motion, reinforces a sense of wonder without disrupting the calm, reflective atmosphere. Nearby rivers continue their steady flow, carving smooth paths through the landscape while reflecting the warm glow of lava and the cool light of the night sky. Water splashes softly over rocks, creating delicate ripples that shimmer like liquid silver. Occasionally, small waterfalls form miniature rainbows, and the slow movement of water juxtaposes the patient advance of molten rock, emphasizing the harmony between contrasting forces. The forest and rivers together create a cinematic setting. The flowing water mirrors the motion of lava, and the trees frame both elements, guiding the viewer's gaze through a continuous story of creation, adaptation, and balance. The textures of the scene are mesmerizing. Charred and blackened rocks contrast with the vibrant greens and muted browns of the forest. Mosses cling to cooled lava edges, softening the harshness of stone and fire. Tree trunks catch the warm light, casting elongated shadows that stretch across the rivers and rocks. Every detail contributes to a rich visual tapestry, encouraging the viewer to slow down and immerse in the environment. Even small details, a droplet of water reflecting firelight, a leaf trembling in the wind, or an insect moving cautiously near the riverbank, enhance the hypnotic quality of the scene, making it both cinematic and deeply relaxing. The sounds of this nighttime landscape form a natural symphony. The gentle hiss of lava meeting cooler rock, the soft murmur of flowing rivers, the rustling of leaves, and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures blend seamlessly into a continuous, meditative rhythm. The mountain breathes slowly, the forest responds gently, and the rivers carry this energy further into the valleys below. Listening to these sounds evokes a profound sense of calm, aligning the mind with the slow, deliberate movements of the natural world. There is no urgency, only the quiet persistence of life and geological forces working together in harmony. Nighttime lighting enhances the scene's hypnotic quality. The glow of molten lava contrasts with the deep blues and blacks of the surrounding rocks and sky. Shadows elongate and shift as the light changes, creating depth and perspective that draws the viewer further into the scene. The forest's dark silhouettes soften the intense glow, providing a natural frame that focuses attention on the flowing lava and rivers. Flickers of firelight occasionally reveal hidden textures in the trees and rocks, adding dynamic motion that remains gentle and unobtrusive. The result is a continuous cinematic experience that feels alive yet peaceful, vivid yet calming. Creatures of the forest navigate these conditions with patience and grace. Small mammals scuttle along moss-covered rocks, avoiding hot patches of ground while moving toward cooler riverbanks. Insects trace delicate paths across leaves and stones, seemingly aware of the mountain's rhythm. Nocturnal birds make cautious movements among branches, blending seamlessly with the shadows. Observing these interactions reveals a quiet interdependence, where life adapts to extreme conditions without conflict, maintaining a balance that feels almost orchestrated. For the viewer, these moments reinforce a sense of calm curiosity, a connection to the persistence and adaptability of nature. As the lava flows continue their slow journey, the landscape evolves subtly but noticeably. Small channels of molten rock reshape cooled surfaces, while rivers adjust their course slightly over centuries-old stones. Trees bend and sway, adjusting to changes in heat and light. The mountain itself seems aware of every movement, responding in slow pulses, releasing energy gradually, and maintaining equilibrium. This interplay of elements creates a narrative that is both visual and emotional, guiding the viewer through a journey of observation, reflection, and relaxation. By the end of this section, the nighttime landscape of fire, water, and forest has established a cinematic and hypnotic rhythm. Lava flows, small eruptions, rivers, trees, and wildlife coexist in harmony, creating a balanced, immersive environment that encourages relaxation and reflection. The viewer has been gently guided into the mountain's world, invited to observe, breathe, and synchronize with the slow, patient heartbeat of the earth. As the story progresses, the narrative will move further into the mountain's inner workings, exploring deeper flows of lava, interactions with distant valleys, and the continuous shaping of the surrounding ecosystem in ways both subtle and profound. As the lava continues its patient journey, it begins to descend into wider valleys, spreading slowly over rocky terrain while maintaining its glowing, molten presence. From a distance, the mountain appears to breathe, its fiery heart slowly reaching outward, touching the land with a warmth that is both powerful and strangely comforting. Valleys that have been shaped by millennia of erosion now bear witness to the subtle artistry of molten rock, which moves with purpose yet leaves gentle, flowing lines across the stone. The movement is mesmerizing, almost hypnotic, as the lava glides over surfaces, reshaping the land with deliberate patience. Rivers that weave through these valleys reflect the lava's glow in shimmering ribbons, creating a balance between heat and coolness. As molten rock approaches the riverbanks, soft plumes of steam rise where water meets lava, curling and twisting into the night air. This delicate mist diffuses the orange glow, scattering light across surrounding rocks, trees, and shrubs, adding a cinematic softness to the landscape. The interaction of fire and water produces subtle, fleeting clouds of fog that drift lazily through the valley, creating pockets of mystery and calm. For the observer, this is a world in motion yet profoundly peaceful, where each element moves in harmony with the others. The landscape is alive with quiet textures and contrasts. Dark, cooled lava forms jagged, dramatic edges, while flowing rivers smooth and polish the stones in their path. Vegetation that survived the slopes begins to appear intermittently in these wider valleys, hardy grasses, mosses, and resilient shrubs that cling to soil enriched by previous eruptions. The contrast between glowing molten rock, dark stone, and green vegetation is visually striking, yet naturally balanced, creating scenes that feel deliberate, composed, and cinematic. Even in their smallness, details like shimmering water droplets or trembling leaves contribute to the meditative quality of the environment. Wildlife continues to navigate the valleys with careful grace. Small mammals emerge from hidden burrows, venturing toward the cooler edges of rivers to drink, while insects trace delicate lines across rocks and leaves, seemingly aware of both heat and shadow. Birds, moving silently through the night, occasionally glide over glowing lava, their wings reflecting warm light in fleeting moments. Every movement, every reaction, is subtle, adding layers of life to the cinematic landscape. These gentle interactions highlight the delicate balance between fire, water, and living creatures, and observing them encourages a reflective, peaceful state in the viewer. Nighttime shadows play across the valleys, elongating and folding over hills and riverbanks as the moon rises higher in the sky. The glowing lava casts a warm, amber light, while the rivers reflect silvery moonlight, creating a visual rhythm that is both calming and mesmerizing. Steam rises in soft clouds, diffusing light and softening edges, while the wind gently moves branches and grass, adding subtle motion to the scene. The combination of firelight, moonlight, mist, and movement creates a cinematic experience that is vivid yet tranquil, designed to draw the viewer into a meditative observation of nature's slow processes. The sounds of this nighttime valley further enhance the hypnotic atmosphere. Soft hissing and bubbling accompany the molten lava, while rivers murmur quietly as they flow over stones. Leaves rustle gently, and distant nocturnal creatures add faint calls to the symphony, all blending seamlessly into a continuous, soothing soundtrack. There is no rush here, everything moves with patience and intention. Listening closely, the observer can sense the mountain's rhythm, the steady pulse of lava, water, and wind, guiding a gentle focus and calming the mind. The valley itself becomes a place for reflection, where the interplay of natural elements creates both fascination and serenity. Steam clouds rise in slow, twisting shapes, sometimes catching the glow of molten lava to form fleeting, fiery highlights. Shadows from rocks and trees shift subtly across the mist, creating depth and perspective that invite exploration and contemplation. The viewer is drawn into this soft haze, where light, heat, and water combine in a delicate dance. The valleys become corridors of quiet drama, where creation and transformation are constant yet gentle, reinforcing the hypnotic, cinematic storytelling that flows seamlessly from the slopes above. Colors in the valley scene are carefully balanced to promote visual calm. Warm reds and oranges from lava contrast with deep blues and blacks of night shadows, while reflective rivers add touches of silver and pale gold. Greens and muted browns of surviving vegetation provide softness and grounding, framing the molten flows and flowing water in a natural harmony. Even small visual details, the shimmer of wet leaves, the glint of water droplets, the subtle movement of moss, contribute to a layered, immersive experience that is engaging yet relaxing. As the lava continues to descend, the valleys are gradually reshaped, forming new channels, smoothing some edges, and leaving others jagged. Water flows patiently alongside, eroding rocks slowly, nourishing plants, and guiding the movement of life through the landscape. The steam and mist act as mediators, softening contrasts and creating moments of visual poetry that are as gentle as they are compelling. Observing this slow evolution invites contemplation of both time and scale, allowing the viewer to align their attention with the measured, deliberate processes of the mountain, rivers, and valley ecosystem. By the end of this section, the wider valleys have revealed themselves as living, breathing spaces where lava, rivers, fog, and life coexist in delicate harmony. The slow, cinematic interaction of heat and coolness, motion and stillness, fire and water has been established, providing a deep sense of calm and engagement. The viewer is gently guided to appreciate the patient shaping of the earth, the subtle presence of life, and the quiet rhythms that govern this ancient landscape. From here, the story will move further, exploring deeper interactions, distant vistas, and the continued journey of molten rock through nighttime valleys, maintaining the hypnotic and sleep-friendly tone. At the base of the mountain, the molten lava finally meets the flowing rivers, creating a slow, mesmerizing spectacle of fire and water intertwining. Where heat touches coolness, gentle clouds of steam rise, curling into the night sky in soft, undulating patterns. The movement is deliberate and soothing, like a slow exhalation of the earth itself, with every puff of steam creating shadows and reflections that shimmer across rocks, water, and vegetation. The interplay of light and movement forms a cinematic tableau that invites the viewer to pause, breathe, and simply observe, allowing the mind to sync with the gentle rhythms of the landscape. The rivers, calm yet persistent, navigate around and through the edges of lava flows, reflecting their orange-red glow while maintaining their cool, silvery surface. Tiny ripples shimmer across the water, catching both moonlight and firelight, creating an effect that is hypnotic and serene. Along the riverbanks, stones and moss glisten with moisture, each droplet acting as a miniature prism, scattering light in subtle, soothing patterns. Every movement, from the gentle ripple of water to the rising steam, contributes to a meditative symphony that is both visual and emotional, encouraging a sense of deep calm and relaxation. Steam clouds drift slowly across the valley floor, diffusing light and softening edges of both lava and rocks. The hazy atmosphere adds depth and dimension to the landscape, creating layers of soft silhouettes that stretch into the distance. Shadows shift gradually as the steam swirls, producing fleeting, delicate patterns that mimic the slow, rhythmic pulse of the earth. Observing these movements, the viewer is drawn into a trance-like state, noticing the smallest details: the shimmer of water droplets, the subtle sway of moss, the faint movement of nocturnal creatures, all part of a gentle narrative that unfolds without urgency or disruption. Nighttime wildlife continues its cautious exploration of the area. Small mammals navigate the edges of rivers, avoiding heat while seeking water. Nocturnal birds glide silently above, their wings catching glimmers of molten glow. Insects trace delicate paths across stones and leaves, moving almost imperceptibly yet contributing to the sense of life within this landscape. Every creature, no matter how small, participates in the quiet harmony of the mountain's base, illustrating resilience and adaptation in a cinematic, sleep-friendly manner. Their presence adds richness to the scene, reinforcing the interconnectedness of fire, water, and life. The mountain itself seems to exhale, releasing warmth and energy through slow, measured pulses. Cracks in cooled lava glow faintly, hinting at the molten currents beneath, while steam and fog carry the heat upward in gentle spirals. Trees and shrubs along the riverside sway in response, creating subtle motion that enhances the hypnotic quality of the scene. Each element, lava, water, steam, vegetation, interacts in a delicate, choreographed rhythm, offering the viewer a sense of participation in the slow unfolding story of earth, fire, and life. Reflections play a central role in the cinematic experience. The rivers mirror both the fiery lava and the cool moonlight above, producing a dynamic yet soothing display of contrasting colors. Rocks and vegetation, partially obscured by mist, create layered silhouettes that add depth and perspective, while steam clouds act as natural diffusers, softening the intensity of the light. The result is a landscape that feels alive, balanced, and infinitely engaging without ever being overwhelming, a perfect environment for relaxation, reflection, and sleep-friendly viewing. Sounds of the scene create an immersive, meditative soundtrack. The gentle hiss of steam mingles with the soft murmur of flowing water, punctuated by the occasional faint crackle of lava adjusting its path. Leaves rustle softly in the mountain breeze, and distant nocturnal calls provide subtle cues of life. The combination of natural sounds with visual elements encourages the viewer to slow down, breathe deeply, and synchronize with the slow, deliberate rhythms of the environment. Every sensory detail reinforces a sense of calm, making the experience both cinematic and restorative. The colors of the scene balance warmth and coolness in a visually harmonious way. Deep reds and oranges of lava glow against the dark blues and blacks of night shadows, while silvery rivers add reflective highlights. Greens and muted browns of vegetation soften contrasts, creating a seamless blend of natural tones that soothe the eyes and mind. Steam clouds scatter light in gentle gradients, adding an ethereal quality that makes the viewer feel both grounded and transported into a meditative landscape. Every visual choice contributes to the sleep-friendly cinematic tone of the narrative. As the lava and rivers continue their patient interaction, the valley transforms slowly. Channels of molten rock are reshaped, cooled surfaces glisten in reflected light, and the surrounding vegetation adapts to subtle changes in temperature and moisture. Steam drifts, mist rises, and nocturnal creatures continue their quiet movements, each detail reinforcing the sense of calm, continuity, and delicate balance. The mountain base becomes a living painting, a harmonious fusion of energy and stillness, where every element moves in sync with the others, guiding the viewer gently deeper into relaxation. By the end of this section, The mountain's base has revealed itself as a complex yet soothing environment, where lava, rivers, steam, and life coexist in balanced, cinematic harmony. The hypnotic interplay of heat, water, motion, and reflection has been established, inviting the viewer to immerse fully in the scene, relax their mind, and feel connected to the slow, deliberate rhythms of nature. The story of burning mountains and flowing rivers continues to unfold, preparing the viewer for further exploration of distant valleys, cascading waterfalls, and the subtle effects of mountain energy on the surrounding landscape, all in a calming, cinematic journey designed to soothe, engage, and inspire sleep. Farther down the mountain, the glowing lava splits into multiple channels, weaving across rocky plains with deliberate patience. Each stream moves with a quiet persistence, tracing paths shaped over centuries, guiding molten rock along curves and ridges that seem almost sculpted for this purpose. The slower, wider channels glow softly, while thinner rivulets shimmer like molten veins, catching flickers of light that dance across nearby stones. In the dim night, these flowing rivers of fire appear almost magical, reflecting the hidden strength and patient rhythm of the mountain itself. Nearby rivers mirror the lava's glow, creating soft, elongated reflections that ripple with every gentle movement of water. These reflections add a sense of depth and tranquility, emphasizing the contrast between the fire's intensity and the water's calm flow. The surface of the rivers catches the occasional moonlight, scattering silver threads across the landscape, which mingle seamlessly with the warm tones of lava. This dynamic interplay of reflection and color creates a visual meditation, inviting the viewer to linger, to breathe, and to observe the slow harmony between these contrasting forces. Mist rises gradually from points where lava meets cooler surfaces, forming soft clouds that drift across the valleys and low-lying slopes. The fog curls around rocks and vegetation, diffusing the fiery glow and scattering light in gentle gradients. Shadows stretch and fold as the mist moves, creating a cinematic tapestry that blends fire, water, and night air into a continuous, soothing composition. The slow, almost hypnotic motion of fog emphasizes the patient pace of natural processes, allowing the viewer to relax fully while remaining engaged with the scene. Trees scattered along the valley edges sway gently in the nighttime wind, their branches brushing softly against one another, creating an almost musical rustling. Leaves catch glimpses of molten light, shimmering like fleeting sparks, while shadows elongate and dance across moss and stones. The interaction of wind, trees, and fog produces subtle movement throughout the scene, reinforcing the sense of a living, breathing environment. Even the tiniest shifts, a leaf trembling in the breeze, a branch brushing against a rock, contribute to a hypnotic rhythm that mirrors the steady flow of lava and rivers. Wildlife navigates this environment with calm precision. Small mammals carefully traverse cooled lava patches to reach the rivers, pausing to drink or sniff the warm night air. Insects trace paths across rocks and leaves, moving slowly yet deliberately, while nocturnal birds glide overhead in quiet arcs, their wings reflecting the molten glow below. Every creature, from the smallest insect to the fox or owl, participates in this nocturnal symphony, adding life and gentle motion without breaking the serene, sleep-friendly atmosphere. Observing these interactions invites viewers into a deep, meditative awareness of the ecosystem's subtle balance. The colors of the scene are a study in contrasts and harmony. Deep reds and oranges of lava streams reflect against dark stones, while silver highlights from river reflections and moonlight provide a visual counterpoint. Greens and muted browns of resilient vegetation add softness to the composition, grounding the fiery displays in natural calm. The mist and fog scatter light in delicate patterns, enhancing depth and creating ethereal layers that shift slowly with the wind. Every hue and shadow contributes to a cinematic experience that is both visually engaging and deeply relaxing. Sounds further enrich the hypnotic atmosphere. The soft murmur of rivers contrasts with the distant hiss of molten lava. Rustling leaves, occasional insect movement, and faint nocturnal calls blend into a gentle, continuous soundscape. The breeze moving through trees adds a subtle cadence, complementing the visual rhythm of flowing fire and water. This auditory environment encourages the viewer to synchronize with the slow, natural pace of the landscape, fostering relaxation, calm focus, and a gentle sense of wonder. The movement of lava and rivers continues to shape the valley subtly. Channels shift slowly, cooled lava forms new ridges, and rivers adjust their courses to follow the contours of the land. Fog softens the hard edges, while wind and trees provide continuous, gentle motion. Observing these layered dynamics, the viewer gains a sense of the mountain's slow, deliberate influence, the patient shaping of terrain, and the ongoing, intertwined dance of fire, water, air, and life. The valley is alive in a quiet, cinematic way, providing both visual engagement and deep relaxation. By the end of this section, the distant lava channels, reflective rivers, drifting fog, and nighttime wind around trees have woven a rich, cinematic tapestry. The scene emphasizes slow natural rhythms, gentle contrasts, and the persistent, patient shaping of the environment by mountain forces. Viewers are drawn into a meditative state, immersed in visual and auditory harmony, and encouraged to slow their breathing, soften their focus, and absorb the hypnotic patterns of fire, water, fog, and life. The story of burning mountains and flowing rivers continues to unfold, with deeper valleys, waterfalls, and broader landscapes awaiting exploration in subsequent sections. As the night deepens further, the molten lava begins its slow transformation, gradually cooling as it moves away from the mountain's core. The intense reds and oranges soften into darker, smoldering hues, creating a subtle gradient across the landscape that seems almost painterly. The lava no longer flows as freely. It thickens, forming ridges and smooth curves that catch the moonlight in gentle highlights. This gradual cooling is hypnotic to observe, a visual meditation that reveals the passage of time in slow, deliberate increments. Every ridge, every fold in the hardened lava tells a story of patience, persistence, and the quiet artistry of the earth itself. Meanwhile, the rivers that have traced paths through valleys widen gently, carrying not just water but reflections of the moon, stars, and lingering lava glow. The surfaces shimmer in slow ripples, catching the light in fluid patterns that are endlessly engaging yet soothing. Small waterfalls and rapids create a soft murmur that complements the distant hissing of cooling lava, forming a layered, natural soundtrack. The river's slow expansion mirrors the patient movement of the lava above, reinforcing the sense of balance between heat and coolness, motion and stillness, fire and water. Observing these interactions, the viewer is invited into a state of calm attentiveness, where the landscape itself becomes a guide for deep relaxation. Fog rises from low-lying areas, drifting over distant hills and valley floors. The soft mist diffuses both lava glow and moonlight, creating ethereal layers that fade gently into the night. Shadows of rocks, trees, and distant slopes stretch and soften, blending seamlessly into the hazy atmosphere. Occasional flickers of light, reflected from cooled lava or shimmering water, punctuate the fog, adding depth and dimension to the scene. The slow movement of the mist enhances the cinematic quality of the landscape, drawing the viewer's attention to subtle details and creating a hypnotic visual rhythm that mirrors the Earth's patient processes. Vegetation along the riverbanks and valley edges responds gently to the night's conditions. Trees sway softly in the breeze, their branches brushing against one another and scattering droplets of condensed moisture into the mist. Shrubs and mosses glisten under the diffused light, and even small patches of grass ripple in synchrony with wind and water. This subtle movement adds life and texture to the scene, reinforcing the feeling of a landscape in continuous, gentle motion. The viewer becomes aware of the interconnectedness of fire, water, wind, and vegetation, and the slow, deliberate rhythms of nature begin to influence their own sense of calm and focus. Wildlife remains active in small, measured ways. Nocturnal mammals traverse the cooled lava surfaces carefully, moving toward rivers for water or finding shelter among rocks. Insects crawl across stones and leaves, their movements slow and deliberate. Birds glide silently overhead, occasionally perching on distant trees, their silhouettes blending into the misty hills. Each creature's activity is subdued, contributing to the scene's meditative quality rather than disrupting it. The subtle presence of life reinforces the harmony between geological forces and the ecosystems they shape, emphasizing patience, resilience, and quiet observation. The cooled lava itself adds new textures to the valley. Smooth, darkened surfaces contrast with jagged ridges formed by earlier flows. Small pools of molten rock remain trapped in depressions, casting occasional flickers of orange light that ripple across surrounding stones and vegetation. These visual contrasts create a dynamic yet calming effect, drawing the viewer's gaze from one element to another while maintaining a consistent, soothing rhythm. The interaction of light and shadow, solid and flowing textures, forms a cinematic tapestry that is both engaging and relaxing. Colors throughout the scene balance warmth and coolness in subtle harmony. Deep, dark reds and soft embers of cooled lava contrast with the reflective silvers of rivers and moonlight. Greens and muted browns of vegetation soften the intensity, while fog diffuses light to create gentle gradients that are easy on the eyes. Every visual element is part of a larger composition, creating layers that invite slow, deliberate observation and contribute to a sleep-friendly experience. The combination of cooled lava, flowing water, mist, and nighttime shadows encourages the viewer to synchronize with the mountain's unhurried pace. Sounds continue to enhance immersion. The distant murmur of widening rivers, the soft crackle of cooling lava, the rustle of leaves in the night breeze, and occasional nocturnal calls form a continuous, layered soundtrack. This auditory environment complements the visual serenity, guiding the viewer into a meditative state and aligning their attention with the patient rhythms of nature. Even small shifts, like a branch brushing a rock or water trickling over stones, contribute to the hypnotic flow of the scene. By the end of this section, the mountain base and surrounding valleys have been revealed as a living, breathing landscape where lava, rivers, fog, vegetation, and wildlife coexist in harmonious balance. The gradual cooling of lava, widening of rivers, and movement of mist and wind reinforce the cinematic, sleep-friendly tone, inviting viewers to observe, relax, and feel connected to the quiet yet persistent rhythms of the earth. The story continues, preparing the way for deeper exploration of distant river networks, interconnected valleys, and the gentle shaping of ecosystems by nighttime mountain forces. The moon hangs low over the mountain valleys, casting silvery light across rivers that glisten like liquid mirrors. Each ripple captures reflections of distant hills, glowing embers of cooled lava, and scattered patches of vegetation, creating a continuously shifting mosaic of light and shadow. The gentle movement of water adds a soft, hypnotic rhythm, encouraging the viewer's eyes and mind to wander slowly across the scene. Every reflection is subtle yet mesmerizing, a delicate interplay of fire, water, and moonlight that brings a dreamlike calm to the landscape. Nighttime wind patterns weave through the valleys with quiet precision. Cool gusts flow across river surfaces, creating ripples that scatter light, while rustling leaves and branches add a gentle percussion to the ambient soundscape. The wind moves around trees and rocks, bending and brushing against them in a natural choreography that mirrors the flow of lava and water. Mist rising from rivers and cooled lava is carried in soft, undulating currents, diffusing the moonlight and the orange glow in delicate gradients. These slow, sweeping motions create a cinematic depth that draws the viewer into the landscape, fostering a sense of calm and immersive presence. Distant hills, partially obscured by night fog, add layers of mystery and serenity to the scene. Their silhouettes appear soft and shifting, almost like shadows of larger forms moving gently in the night. Reflections of these hills ripple across the river surfaces, blending with lava glow and moonlight to form a harmonious palette of colors. Shadows lengthen and shift as the wind moves the fog, creating a slow visual rhythm that is easy to follow yet endlessly engaging. The interplay of distance, light, and movement offers a cinematic perspective that is both hypnotic and relaxing. Wildlife continues its measured activity in this nocturnal environment. Small mammals traverse cooled lava and riverbanks carefully, pausing occasionally to drink or sniff the night air. Nocturnal birds glide silently, their wings catching faint light before disappearing into the shadows. Insects trace delicate paths across rocks, leaves, and moss, their subtle movements adding texture and life to the scene. Each creature interacts with the landscape in a quiet, purposeful manner, reinforcing the sense of harmony and persistence that defines this mountain valley at night. Observing these interactions, the viewer is invited to adopt a slower pace, noticing details and syncing with the gentle rhythms of nature. The textures of the landscape are enhanced by the interplay of light and shadow. Smooth river surfaces reflect molten lava, moonlight, and fog in constantly shifting patterns, while cooled lava ridges add depth and contrast. Moss and vegetation catch glimmers of scattered light, softening the hard edges of rock and fire. Trees sway gently in response to the wind, casting elongated, moving shadows across the valley floor. Even small details, like droplets of water reflecting faint firelight or mist curling around a stone, contribute to a meditative cinematic experience, blending subtle motion with stillness to guide the viewer into relaxation. Colors in this section are muted yet rich, designed to soothe while maintaining visual interest. Silvery blues of moonlight, deep oranges of cooling lava, and soft greens and browns of vegetation form a balanced palette. Mist and fog diffuse edges, creating gentle gradients and a sense of depth. Every hue and shadow is part of a larger composition, harmonizing movement, light, and texture in a way that encourages both visual engagement and calm. The result is a sleep-friendly cinematic landscape where viewers can lose themselves in slow observation without overstimulation. Sounds continue to enhance immersion. The murmur of rivers, occasional hissing of residual lava heat, rustling leaves, and soft wind currents create a continuous, layered auditory experience. Faint nocturnal calls add life without distraction, blending seamlessly into the natural symphony. Each sound is subtle yet intentional, reinforcing the meditative rhythm established by visual elements. Together, light, motion, and sound guide the viewer into a state of gentle focus, relaxation, and hypnotic engagement. The movement of water, wind, and fog forms a slow, continuous narrative. Rivers twist gently through valleys, reflecting distant hills and lava flows, while mist drifts lazily across stones and vegetation. Wind bends branches, carries scent, and stirs subtle sounds, connecting every element of the scene in an invisible, cinematic choreography. Observing these interactions fosters a quiet attentiveness, allowing the viewer to sync with the patient, deliberate pace of the landscape. The nighttime environment becomes not just scenery, but an immersive experience, inviting calm contemplation and a deep sense of connection with nature's rhythms. By the end of this section, the combination of reflective rivers, distant hills, drifting fog, wind patterns, and nocturnal wildlife has established a serene, cinematic tableau. Every element interacts subtly yet purposefully, creating a hypnotic rhythm of light, movement, and sound. The viewer is drawn into a meditative observation of the mountain valleys, guided by the delicate balance between fire, water, air, and life. This foundation sets the stage for the next sections, which will continue to explore the mountain slopes, river networks, and surrounding ecosystems, maintaining the immersive, sleep-friendly cinematic experience. As the night stretches on, lava channels spread gradually across the wider slopes of the mountain, moving in slow, deliberate lines that trace paths of ancient flows. The glowing rivers of molten rock illuminate cooled ridges and scattered stones, forming intricate patterns that capture both light and movement. The channels divide and merge, creating a natural network that seems alive, pulsating softly beneath the night sky. Watching these flows is like observing a slow, meditative dance. Every curve, ripple, and fold tells a story of patient energy and the continuous shaping of the landscape over time. Wider rivers mirror this activity with serene elegance. Their surfaces capture the fiery glow of lava and the silvery light of the moon, reflecting patterns that shimmer and ripple with every gentle movement of water. Mist rises where water meets cooled lava, curling into soft clouds that drift lazily across riverbanks and valley floors. These clouds diffuse the glowing light, adding layers of softness to the scene and creating a cinematic effect that is both hypnotic and calming. The interplay of reflection and fog emphasizes depth and distance, drawing the viewer's gaze gently across the landscape while maintaining a sense of serenity. The distant edges of forests are touched subtly by the night's activity. Trees sway in the soft mountain breeze, their leaves catching fleeting glimmers of lava glow and moonlight. Shadows stretch across undergrowth, merging with the drifting fog to create delicate silhouettes that shift slowly with the wind. Every movement is gentle and rhythmic, adding to the hypnotic quality of the landscape. Vegetation along riverbanks responds to subtle changes in moisture and temperature, leaves trembling as the mist and night air intermingle. This interaction of wind, fog, firelight, and greenery forms a layered, cinematic scene that is easy for viewers to follow, soothing both eyes and mind. Nocturnal wildlife moves quietly throughout this environment. Small mammals traverse cooled lava surfaces to reach water, pausing to drink or listen for distant sounds. Birds glide silently overhead, occasionally landing on branches that catch soft, scattered light. Insects trace slow, deliberate paths across moss and leaves, their movements almost imperceptible yet contributing to the sense of life in the valleys. Each creature interacts with the landscape in a gentle, purposeful manner, reinforcing the peaceful coexistence between natural forces and living organisms. Observing these subtle activities encourages a slow, mindful pace in the viewer, enhancing the sleep-friendly cinematic experience. Textures across the valleys add depth and richness to the scene. Smooth, darkened lava ridges contrast with reflective water surfaces, moss-covered rocks, and soft, undulating fog. The interplay of hard and soft surfaces, motion and stillness, light and shadow, creates a dynamic yet calming visual composition. Tiny details, a droplet of water glimmering in lava light, a branch brushing a rock, or mist curling around moss, add layers of subtle complexity that draw the viewer's attention gently without overstimulation. Every element contributes to a meditative observation of nature's patient rhythm. Colors are carefully balanced to maintain visual calm. Deep oranges and reds of lava soften as it cools, while silvery moonlight reflects across river surfaces. Greens and muted browns of vegetation provide grounding contrast, and the drifting fog softens the interplay of light, creating smooth gradients that are visually soothing. The result is a cinematic landscape that engages the eye with gentle variation while promoting relaxation, focus, and a sense of immersion in the nighttime environment. The sounds of the valley enhance the hypnotic atmosphere. The steady murmur of rivers, faint hissing of residual lava, soft rustling of leaves in the night wind, and occasional nocturnal calls combine into a continuous auditory tapestry. Subtle shifts, like a small ripple, a distant branch movement, or a quiet animal step, punctuate the scene without disrupting the calm rhythm. This layered soundscape works in tandem with visual elements, allowing the viewer to synchronize their attention and breathing with the slow, deliberate pulse of the mountain and surrounding valleys. The movement of lava, rivers, fog, and wind forms a continuous, meditative narrative. Lava flows branch and merge, rivers ripple and widen, fog drifts and softens shadows, and trees sway gently in the breeze. Every element interacts in subtle choreography, guiding the viewer through a landscape that is both alive and serene. The slow, deliberate pace of these interactions encourages deep focus, relaxation, and a hypnotic immersion into the mountain's nocturnal rhythms. By the end of this section, the expanded lava channels, reflective rivers, drifting fog, distant forest edges, and gentle nocturnal animal activity have woven a cinematic tableau that balances motion and stillness, warmth and coolness, light and shadow. The viewer is drawn into a meditative observation of the landscape, immersed in its hypnotic patterns, and invited to slow their breathing, soften their focus, and feel connected to the persistent, patient rhythms of nature. This sets the stage for the next section, which will explore river confluences, steam-filled valleys, and the subtle nocturnal interactions between mountain forces and living ecosystems, continuing the sleep-friendly cinematic journey. Farther down the mountain slopes, separate lava channels begin to converge, flowing slowly toward larger valleys below. Their molten currents meet in quiet, glowing junctions, merging their heat and light into broader rivers of fire. The convergence is gradual, seamless, and hypnotic, with each stream adjusting to the presence of the other in a natural, almost choreographed manner. Small pockets of steam rise where the lava streams touch cooled surfaces, curling into soft tendrils that drift lazily across the night sky. Observing these interactions, the viewer is drawn into the gentle rhythm of creation, where powerful forces act in patient, deliberate harmony. Nearby rivers, flowing from distant sources, meet in confluences that mirror the lava's merging paths. The water pools and twists gently, reflecting molten glow, moonlight, and scattered patches of forest in shimmering patterns. Where the lava and rivers intersect, soft plumes of steam rise, carrying warmth into the cool night air and diffusing light across surrounding rocks and vegetation. The drifting mist adds layers of softness, transforming the valleys into a cinematic dreamscape where fire, water, and fog coexist peacefully. The movement is slow and steady, inviting viewers to observe deeply, breathe gently, and sink into relaxation. Fog spreads further across the valley floors, filling low-lying areas and weaving between rocks, trees, and riverbanks. The soft clouds of mist diffuse the glow of lava and reflections in rivers, creating gradients of color and light that shift slowly with the wind. Shadows stretch and fold as the fog moves, forming delicate silhouettes of distant hills, tree trunks, and rocky outcrops. Each layer of fog adds depth, enhancing the cinematic perspective and drawing the viewer's gaze into a world that feels both expansive and intimate. The overall effect is hypnotic, encouraging meditative focus and visual immersion. Vegetation along riverbanks and valley edges responds gently to these conditions. Trees sway softly in the night wind, brushing leaves together to produce subtle rustling sounds. Shrubs and mosses glisten with dew and condensed moisture, catching flickers of molten and moonlight. Grasses ripple gently as the wind moves through them, adding rhythmic, hypnotic motion that complements the flow of lava and rivers. Every plant, from the tallest tree to the smallest patch of moss, participates in this slow, delicate choreography, reinforcing the sense of harmony between earth, fire, water, and air. Wildlife navigates these areas with quiet precision. Small mammals move cautiously along riverbanks, sometimes pausing to drink or observe the rising steam. Insects trace slow, deliberate paths across leaves, stones, and moss, their movements almost imperceptible yet adding layers of life to the nocturnal scene. Birds glide silently above, their silhouettes fleetingly illuminated by lava glow or moonlight, while distant nocturnal creatures move subtly through fog-shrouded terrain. Each life form interacts carefully with its environment, reinforcing the sense of balance and persistence that characterizes this mountainous landscape. The textures of the scene are layered and cinematic. Smooth, reflective river surfaces contrast with jagged, cooled lava ridges, moss-covered rocks, and drifting fog. Subtle highlights from lava glow or moonlight illuminate edges of stones, branches, and leaves, creating visual depth that is engaging without overwhelming the senses. Mist softens the hard contrasts, and moving shadows of vegetation add dynamic motion that encourages the viewer to focus slowly and meditatively, absorbing the continuous rhythm of nighttime natural processes. Colors are carefully composed for balance and tranquility. Deep reds and oranges of lava glow merge with silvery moonlight on river surfaces, while greens and muted browns of vegetation add grounding softness. Fog diffuses light, creating gentle gradients and enhancing depth, while occasional reflections of lava and moonlight in rivers add subtle highlights. The combination of warm and cool tones, light and shadow, movement and stillness forms a cinematic tableau designed to maintain engagement while promoting relaxation and sleep-friendly focus. Sounds in this section continue the hypnotic pattern. The murmur of converging rivers, occasional hiss of molten lava against cooled rock, soft rustling of leaves, and faint nocturnal calls blend into a continuous, layered auditory experience. Steam rising from lava and water adds a soft, almost musical hiss, while the gentle wind through vegetation provides a calm, rhythmic undercurrent. These natural sounds, synchronized with visual movement, help the viewer relax, slow their breathing, and sink into the patient cadence of the mountain's nocturnal landscape. By the end of this section, the convergence of lava channels, river confluences, rising steam, spreading fog, and subtle nocturnal wildlife activity has created a rich, immersive cinematic experience. The hypnotic rhythm of movement, light, and sound encourages meditative observation, deep relaxation, and a sense of connection with the slow, deliberate processes of nature. The landscape, alive yet serene, sets the stage for further exploration in subsequent sections, where valleys, waterfalls, and interconnected ecosystems continue to unfold in sleep-friendly, cinematic detail. As the night deepens, the lava flows that once moved through narrow channels now converge into broader rivers of molten rock, spreading slowly across the valleys. Their glow softens as they cool, forming smooth ridges and undulating surfaces that catch flickers of moonlight. The molten streams snake across the landscape with quiet persistence, illuminating jagged rocks, scattered boulders, and patches of resilient vegetation. Watching this slow, hypnotic movement is like observing the patient artistry of the earth itself, each ripple and fold telling a story of energy, persistence, and natural transformation. Wider rivers meander alongside the lava, reflecting its fiery glow while catching silvery highlights from the moon above. The water moves gently, creating soft ripples that scatter light across moss-covered stones and along riverbanks. In places where lava meets water, delicate plumes of steam rise, curling into the night air and diffusing light into warm, soft gradients. These drifting mists create a cinematic haze that stretches across the valley floor, adding depth, softness, and a dreamlike quality to the landscape. The combination of flowing water, molten rock, and fog forms a hypnotic rhythm that draws the viewer into a meditative, reflective state. Distant hills loom softly through layers of fog, their silhouettes blending with the night sky. Shadows stretch across slopes and valleys, shifting subtly as the wind moves the mist. Trees on these hills sway gently, their outlines occasionally catching the glow of molten lava below. The interplay of fog, shadows, and reflected light creates a layered, cinematic perspective that is both vast and intimate. Every movement, from drifting fog to swaying branches, adds to the sense of a living, breathing landscape unfolding slowly before the viewer's eyes. Vegetation along riverbanks and valley edges responds to the nighttime conditions with gentle, rhythmic motion. Trees bend and sway in the mountain breeze, brushing leaves together to produce subtle, soothing sounds. Mosses and shrubs glisten with dew, reflecting tiny sparks of light from lava and moonlight. Grasses ripple with every passing gust, adding a hypnotic cadence to the scene that complements the slow movement of rivers and molten rock. Each plant, from the smallest patch of moss to the tallest tree, participates in the quiet, cinematic choreography of the mountain valleys. Nocturnal wildlife moves cautiously through this environment. Small mammals navigate the edges of cooled lava, moving toward the rivers to drink or forage. Insects trace slow, deliberate paths across stones and vegetation, their movements almost imperceptible yet adding texture and life to the scene. Birds glide silently overhead, their wings catching occasional glimmers of molten or moonlight. Even distant nocturnal creatures, hidden in fog-shrouded valleys, contribute to the subtle pulse of the landscape. Every living being interacts harmoniously with natural forces, reinforcing the peaceful, sleep-friendly atmosphere. Textures in the valley are rich and varied. Smooth river surfaces reflect lava and moonlight, jagged cooled lava ridges provide contrast, and moss-covered stones add softness. Fog softens harsh edges while moving shadows of trees, hills, and rocks create dynamic, slow-changing patterns. Tiny details, such as droplets of water reflecting faint light or leaves trembling in the breeze, enhance the immersive quality of the scene. The continuous interplay of textures encourages careful, slow observation, promoting a meditative, hypnotic experience. Colors throughout the scene are balanced for visual calm. Deep reds and soft oranges of cooled lava contrast with silvery moonlight on river surfaces, while greens and muted browns of vegetation provide grounding tones. Fog diffuses these colors into gentle gradients, softening contrasts and enhancing depth. Highlights from flowing rivers and residual lava glow add dynamic interest without overwhelming the senses. This color palette supports the cinematic and sleep-friendly tone, guiding the viewer gently through the landscape. The sounds of night enhance the hypnotic atmosphere. Flowing rivers murmur softly, faint hissing arises from residual lava, leaves rustle gently in the wind, and distant nocturnal calls punctuate the quiet. Steam rising from lava and water produces a soft, continuous hiss that blends with the other natural sounds. These auditory layers synchronize with visual elements, creating a meditative rhythm that encourages slow breathing, gentle focus, and immersion in the nocturnal world of mountain valleys. By the end of this section, the convergence of lava flows into broader valleys, widening rivers, layered fog over distant hills, and nighttime reflections has created a cinematic, immersive environment. The hypnotic rhythm of movement, light, texture, and sound encourages deep relaxation, meditative observation, and a sense of connection with the persistent, patient forces of nature. The landscape feels alive yet calm, setting the stage for the next sections, which will continue to explore river networks, cascading waterfalls, and the subtle nocturnal interactions of mountain ecosystems, all within the cinematic sleep-friendly experience. As the moonlight stretches across the valleys, the wide rivers gradually branch into smaller, gentler streams, winding through moss-covered rocks and patches of resilient vegetation. These streams move slowly, tracing curves and bends shaped by centuries of patient erosion. Their surfaces catch the soft glow of the moon and occasional flickers from residual lava, creating shimmering reflections that ripple with every gentle motion of water. Watching these delicate currents is mesmerizing, like observing the slow heartbeat of the earth itself, each ripple and bend telling a story of harmony between movement and stillness. Fog drifts lazily through the valleys, weaving between tree trunks and across riverbanks. As it passes through dense canopies, it softens the outlines of branches and leaves, creating delicate silhouettes that sway with the nighttime breeze. The mist mingles with reflections on water surfaces, blending the silvery moonlight and soft residual lava glow into subtle gradients. This interaction adds depth and cinematic elegance, making the viewer feel enveloped in a quiet, meditative world. The slow, deliberate motion of fog encourages gentle focus, inviting relaxation and immersion in the hypnotic rhythms of the nocturnal landscape. Trees along the streams respond softly to the night wind. Leaves tremble and branches sway, producing gentle rustling sounds that harmonize with the murmur of flowing water. Moss clings to rocks and tree roots, glistening with dew, while shrubs and undergrowth move subtly with each passing gust. The combined motion of fog, water, and vegetation creates a continuous, cinematic rhythm that is both engaging and deeply calming. Every detail contributes to a sense of balance, patience, and connection with nature's slow, deliberate processes. Nocturnal wildlife moves quietly through this serene environment. Small mammals traverse cooled lava edges and stream banks, pausing to drink or observe their surroundings. Insects crawl across leaves and stones, tracing subtle, deliberate paths. Birds glide silently overhead, their wings catching fleeting glimmers of moonlight, while hidden creatures rustle softly in fog-shrouded undergrowth. Each movement is gentle and purposeful, enhancing the hypnotic atmosphere without disturbing the calm. Observing these subtle activities allows the viewer to synchronize their breathing and attention with the quiet, continuous pulse of the landscape. The textures of the scene are rich and layered. Smooth, reflective stream surfaces contrast with jagged lava ridges, mossy rocks, and soft fog. Subtle highlights from moonlight and residual lava add visual depth, while shadows of swaying trees and distant hills provide dynamic movement that is gentle and mesmerizing. Small details, such as dew-laden leaves trembling in the breeze or ripples forming on the water's surface, add to the cinematic quality, encouraging the viewer to absorb the continuous rhythm of nature with slow, meditative attention. Colors remain balanced and soothing. Silvery blues of moonlight mingle with the soft reds and oranges of cooled lava reflections, while greens and muted browns of moss, trees, and shrubs provide grounding contrast. Fog diffuses light, creating soft gradients and enhancing depth, while rippling reflections add dynamic interest without overstimulating the senses. This careful combination of warm and cool tones, light and shadow, motion and stillness, supports a sleep-friendly cinematic experience, drawing viewers into a state of calm observation. The auditory experience continues to complement the visuals. The soft murmur of branching streams, the distant hiss of residual lava, gentle rustling of leaves, and faint nocturnal calls combine into a layered, meditative soundscape. The wind flowing through trees and the soft hiss of fog and mist over water add subtle, rhythmic accents. Every sound works in harmony with visual elements, reinforcing the hypnotic, immersive quality of the scene and encouraging viewers to slow their breathing and relax deeply. The slow interaction of streams, fog, trees, and wildlife forms a natural, meditative choreography. Streams split and rejoin, fog drifts in soft currents, trees sway gently, and nocturnal creatures move with quiet precision. Every movement is synchronized with the others, creating a continuous, soothing rhythm. Observing this layered interplay fosters mindfulness, calm focus, and a deep connection to the persistent, patient rhythms of the mountain ecosystem. The scene feels alive yet profoundly serene, inviting viewers to remain immersed in the cinematic journey. By the end of this section, the branching rivers, fog interacting with tree canopies, shimmering reflections under moonlight, and subtle nocturnal wildlife activity have created a deeply immersive and calming cinematic tableau. The hypnotic rhythm of movement, light, and sound encourages slow observation, relaxation, and meditative engagement. Viewers are gently guided to synchronize with the nighttime landscape, experiencing both visual and auditory harmony while being prepared for the next sections, which will explore cascading waterfalls, deep valleys, and nocturnal mountain dynamics, maintaining the sleep-friendly cinematic tone. Farther along the mountain valleys, the rivers begin to gather momentum as they cascade over cliffs and ledges, forming gentle waterfalls that tumble into deep, shadowed basins below. The water sparkles in the moonlight, catching faint reflections of residual lava and creating silver threads that shimmer as they fall. The sound of flowing water is soft yet persistent, a natural lullaby that blends seamlessly with the rustle of leaves and the distant hissing of cooling lava. Each waterfall moves with quiet grace, emphasizing the patient, continuous shaping of the valley by natural forces. Mist rises from the points where waterfalls strike pools below, curling into delicate clouds that drift across the valley floor. This soft fog interacts with moonlight and lava glow, diffusing warm and cool tones into gentle gradients. Shadows of nearby trees and rocky outcrops stretch and shift as the mist moves, creating cinematic depth and a dreamlike quality. The slow, swirling motion of fog and water enhances the hypnotic rhythm of the landscape, inviting viewers to focus gently on movement, light, and texture while relaxing into the nighttime atmosphere. Trees along the riverbanks and cliffs sway softly in the mountain breeze. Branches brush together, creating subtle, soothing rustling sounds that complement the murmur of waterfalls. Leaves glisten faintly with dew or mist, reflecting light in soft, scattered patterns. Moss clings to rocks and trunks, adding texture and depth to the scene. The wind carries subtle scents of earth, water, and vegetation, enriching the sensory experience even in imagination. This gentle interplay of movement, sound, and texture forms a continuous, cinematic rhythm that is both engaging and deeply calming. Nocturnal wildlife moves quietly around the waterfall basins. Small mammals traverse the edges of rivers and streams, pausing to drink or explore shadowed nooks. Birds glide silently overhead or perch briefly on distant branches, catching fleeting glimmers of moonlight or lava glow. Insects move along mossy rocks and leaves, their delicate paths adding life and subtle motion. Each creature interacts harmoniously with the environment, contributing to the layered, sleep-friendly atmosphere without disrupting the serene cadence of the landscape. Textures across the valleys are rich and layered. Smooth, reflective water surfaces contrast with jagged cliffs, moss-covered stones, and drifting mist. Falling water creates dynamic motion while mist softens edges and enhances depth. Shadows of trees, rocks, and distant hills shift slowly with the wind, creating continuous, gentle movement that draws the viewer into a meditative focus. Even small details, such as droplets splashing from waterfalls or mist curling around branches, contribute to the hypnotic, cinematic quality of the scene. Colors are balanced to promote calm while maintaining visual interest. Silvery blues of moonlight, soft oranges of residual lava glow, and muted greens and browns of vegetation create harmony across the valley. Mist diffuses contrasts, forming smooth gradients that soothe the eyes. Waterfalls and reflective pools introduce subtle highlights, while shadows and fog create depth and perspective. This palette supports a cinematic, sleep-friendly experience, inviting viewers to immerse themselves fully in the landscape while maintaining relaxation and gentle engagement. The sounds of cascading water, rustling leaves, and nocturnal wildlife form a layered, meditative auditory experience. The waterfall's steady murmur provides a central rhythm, punctuated by soft hissing from lava or distant wind. Insects, birds, and small mammals add faint, occasional sounds that enrich the natural soundtrack without interrupting its calming flow. These auditory layers work in harmony with visual elements, guiding the viewer's attention and breathing in sync with the gentle, persistent cadence of the environment. The interaction of waterfalls, mist, wind, trees, and wildlife forms a slow, deliberate choreography. Water descends into deep basins, mist rises and drifts, leaves sway with the breeze, and nocturnal creatures move quietly throughout the valleys. Every motion is subtle yet synchronized, creating a continuous rhythm that encourages deep observation, relaxation, and meditative focus. The scene becomes a living, breathing tableau, where cinematic beauty and sleep-friendly pacing coexist in perfect harmony. By the end of this section, the cascading waterfalls, mist interacting with reflections, swaying trees, and nocturnal wildlife activity have woven a rich, immersive cinematic environment. The hypnotic interplay of movement, light, texture, and sound fosters meditative engagement, relaxation, and a deep connection to the mountain's slow, deliberate rhythms. This foundation sets the stage for the next sections, which will explore fog-filled river valleys, nocturnal wildlife interactions, and the patient shaping of ecosystems, all while maintaining the cinematic, sleep-friendly experience. The mountain valleys are now blanketed in soft, rolling fog, drifting lazily along riverbanks and across cooled lava plains. This gentle mist weaves between trees, rocks, and undulating terrain, softening edges and creating layers of depth that seem almost infinite. Through gaps in the fog, glowing streams of lava peak, casting warm, diffuse light that contrasts beautifully with the silver-blue glow of the moonlit rivers. The combination of fire, water, and mist creates a hypnotic visual rhythm, inviting viewers to sink into a slow, meditative focus while experiencing the serene nocturnal landscape. Rivers continue to flow steadily through the fog-filled valleys, widening as they merge with smaller streams. Their surfaces catch reflections of moonlight and lava glow, producing ripples that shimmer gently in the night. Where the water meets patches of mist, reflections blur softly, creating a cinematic, dreamlike quality. Observing these gentle movements, viewers can feel their own breathing synchronize with the rhythm of the landscape. The slow unfolding of light and motion encourages deep relaxation and meditative immersion in the scene. Wind flows softly through the trees, bending branches and rustling leaves in a subtle, soothing cadence. The movement of air interacts with the mist and fog, carrying it across river valleys and dispersing it in gentle currents. The swaying of tree canopies adds dynamic motion, while shadows shift slowly across rocks and water. This continuous interplay between wind, fog, and vegetation forms a hypnotic, cinematic choreography that engages the senses without overstimulation. Every rustle, sway, and curl of mist becomes part of a natural symphony designed to calm the mind. Subtle nocturnal wildlife adds quiet life to the scene. Small mammals move along riverbanks and lava edges, their paws making soft, almost imperceptible sounds on cooled stone. Birds glide silently overhead, occasionally perching on fog-draped branches to rest. Insects trace slow, deliberate paths across moss and leaves, adding gentle motion to the valleys. Each creature interacts with the environment with care, reinforcing the patient, harmonious rhythm of the mountain ecosystem. Observing these subtle movements enhances the meditative quality of the cinematic landscape. Textures in the fog-filled valleys are varied and rich. Smooth river surfaces reflect glowing lava streams and moonlight, while jagged lava ridges provide contrast. Moss-covered stones and tree trunks add softness, and drifting fog blurs hard edges to create depth. Subtle highlights from reflected light shimmer across leaves and water droplets, while shadows stretch and shift with the movement of wind and mist. The interplay of textures encourages careful, slow observation, promoting a hypnotic, calming experience for viewers immersed in the nocturnal landscape. Colors throughout the scene maintain balance and visual calm. Warm oranges and reds of glowing lava contrast with the cool silvers and blues of moonlight on river surfaces. Greens and muted browns of vegetation ground the scene, while fog diffuses all tones into soft gradients that soothe the eyes. Reflections in water surfaces introduce subtle highlights, enhancing the dreamlike, cinematic quality of the environment. The overall palette supports a sleep-friendly visual experience that encourages relaxation, mindfulness, and deep immersion. The sounds of the valleys enhance the meditative atmosphere. Flowing rivers murmur softly, distant hissing of lava rises occasionally, leaves rustle in the gentle wind, and subtle calls from nocturnal wildlife punctuate the calm. Mist and fog add an almost imperceptible hiss or whisper as they move, complementing other natural sounds. The auditory layers blend seamlessly with visual elements, guiding viewers' attention, breathing, and mental rhythm to align with the slow, persistent cadence of the landscape. The interaction of fog, rivers, wind, and wildlife forms a continuous, hypnotic choreography. Streams flow and merge, mist drifts and swirls, trees sway gently, and nocturnal creatures move cautiously. Every element moves in synchrony, producing a layered, calming rhythm that encourages viewers to observe deeply while remaining relaxed. This slow, deliberate movement reinforces the sense of patient, persistent natural forces shaping the mountain valleys. By the end of this section, the fog-filled river valleys, glowing lava streams, wind patterns through distant trees, and subtle nocturnal wildlife activity have created a rich, immersive cinematic experience. The hypnotic interplay of light, motion, texture, and sound fosters meditative engagement, deep relaxation, and a sense of connection with the persistent rhythms of nature. The landscape is alive yet serene, preparing viewers for the next sections, which will explore cascading rivers, lava-light reflections on stones, and nocturnal ecosystem interactions, maintaining the cinematic sleep-friendly tone. As the night deepens, cascading rivers descend gently into the fog-filled valleys below, their waters moving with deliberate, patient grace. Each drop catches faint moonlight and residual lava glow, scattering tiny flashes across wet stones and moss-covered riverbanks. The waterfalls form soft, rhythmic patterns, producing a soothing murmur that blends naturally with the whisper of the night wind. Watching these flowing streams evokes a meditative calm, as the eye follows the gentle twists and turns, the ripples on water, and the patterns of light reflected across wet surfaces. Mist rises from the points where rivers meet rocks and pooled basins, curling in delicate tendrils that drift lazily through trees and across valley floors. The fog softens edges of cliffs, stones, and vegetation, blending shadows into a seamless, cinematic haze. Subtle reflections of lava glow shimmer on wet stones, creating warm highlights that contrast softly with the silvery sheen of moonlit water. Every ripple, every drifting plume of mist adds layers of motion that are hypnotic, encouraging viewers to breathe slowly and immerse themselves in the serene nocturnal landscape. Trees along the valley edges sway gently in the nighttime breeze, their canopies moving in a fluid rhythm that mirrors the motion of cascading water below. Branches brush softly against one another, producing faint, soothing rustles that mix harmoniously with the sound of flowing rivers and distant lava hisses. Moss and leaves glisten with condensation from fog and mist, catching tiny sparks of reflected light. The combined visual and auditory effect is cinematic yet calming, offering viewers a layered, immersive experience that encourages focus, relaxation, and gentle observation. Nocturnal wildlife moves quietly through the valleys, adding life without disturbing the serenity. Small mammals traverse cooled lava surfaces and riverbanks, pausing briefly to drink or survey their surroundings. Insects trace slow, deliberate paths across wet stones and leaves, while birds glide silently above, occasionally landing on fog-draped branches. The measured activity of these creatures reinforces the hypnotic rhythm of the landscape, providing subtle motion that draws attention yet maintains a peaceful, sleep-friendly atmosphere. Observing their careful interactions fosters a sense of calm and connection to the natural world. Textures throughout the scene are rich and layered. Smooth, reflective river surfaces shimmer with moonlight and lava reflections, contrasting with jagged, cooled lava ridges, moss-covered rocks, and drifting fog. Falling water creates dynamic yet gentle motion, while mist softens sharp edges, enhancing depth and perspective. Tiny details, such as droplets scattering on wet stones or leaves trembling in the breeze, contribute to the cinematic quality of the scene, inviting slow, meditative attention and a deep sense of presence in the nocturnal landscape. Colors are balanced to soothe the eye while maintaining visual engagement. Silvery blues of moonlight blend with warm oranges and reds of residual lava reflections, while greens and muted browns of moss, leaves, and trees provide grounding tones. Fog diffuses all colors into gentle gradients, softening contrasts and adding depth. Highlights from water surfaces and wet stones create dynamic points of interest, enhancing cinematic immersion without overstimulating viewers. This careful composition of tones supports a sleep-friendly, relaxing visual experience. Sounds in this section complement the visual serenity perfectly. The steady murmur of cascading rivers, occasional hissing of lava, gentle rustling of leaves, and faint calls of nocturnal wildlife form a layered, meditative auditory experience. Mist and fog contribute an almost imperceptible whisper as they move across river surfaces and vegetation. Each sound layer interacts with the others, guiding the viewer's breathing and attention to align with the slow, persistent rhythms of the landscape. This natural soundscape reinforces the hypnotic, cinematic atmosphere. The interplay of cascading rivers, drifting fog, swaying trees, and nocturnal wildlife creates a continuous, flowing choreography. Water descends into pools and streams, mist rises and disperses, branches sway gently, and small creatures navigate the terrain with care. Every element is synchronized with the others, forming a layered rhythm that is hypnotic yet soothing. Observing these subtle interactions encourages viewers to slow their pace, focus on details, and feel a deep sense of immersion and relaxation within the mountain valleys. By the end of this section, the cascading rivers, mist-filled valleys, lava reflections on wet stones, wind through distant trees, and subtle nocturnal animal activity have combined to create a richly immersive, cinematic tableau. The hypnotic rhythm of light, motion, texture, and sound fosters deep relaxation, meditative focus, and a sense of connection with the slow, deliberate processes of nature. The landscape feels alive yet serene, setting the stage for the next sections, which will explore wider river networks, extended lava flows, fog layering across valleys, and the continuous nocturnal activity of mountain ecosystems, maintaining the sleep-friendly cinematic experience. As the night progresses, the rivers widen and branch into intricate networks across the valleys and plains, creating a delicate lacework of flowing water. Each stream moves with a slow, purposeful grace, reflecting the soft glow of residual lava and the silvery sheen of moonlight. The river surfaces ripple gently, scattering light across moss-covered stones and vegetation, producing a hypnotic shimmer that draws the viewer's gaze. Watching these interwoven streams is like following the mountain's quiet pulse, each tributary contributing to the meditative rhythm of the nocturnal landscape. Lava streams continue to extend across plains and cooled ridges, their glow softening as they lose heat. Thin rivulets snake through small depressions, pooling briefly before merging into wider flows, while larger streams move more steadily, illuminating nearby rocks, vegetation, and subtle changes in terrain. The contrast between the warm, smoldering lava and the cool, reflective rivers creates a cinematic interplay of light and shadow. The slow movement of molten rock across the landscape adds dynamic visual interest without disturbing the serene, sleep-friendly atmosphere. Fog drifts over distant valleys and plains, layering gently across hills, trees, and riverbanks. The mist softens edges, blurring the boundaries between vegetation, water, and stone. Shadows stretch and shift as the fog moves with the night wind, creating a layered depth that enhances the cinematic perspective. Reflections of moonlight and lava glow shimmer through the haze, forming gradients of light that draw the eye naturally along the paths of rivers and streams. This slow, subtle motion encourages meditative observation and deep relaxation. Trees along the riverbanks and plains respond delicately to the night wind. Branches sway gently, leaves rustle in a soft, rhythmic cadence, and moss glistens with dew or condensed moisture. The interaction of wind, fog, and vegetation forms a continuous, hypnotic movement that complements the flow of rivers and lava streams. Every tree, shrub, and patch of moss participates in this cinematic choreography, enhancing the sense of harmony and balance within the nocturnal mountain landscape. Nocturnal wildlife moves cautiously through these extended river networks and plains. Small mammals traverse cooled lava surfaces, cautiously approaching streams to drink. Birds glide silently overhead, occasionally landing on fog-draped branches. Insects trace deliberate paths across wet stones, leaves, and moss, adding subtle motion to the scene. Each creature contributes quietly to the hypnotic rhythm of the valleys, reinforcing the balance between life and natural forces. Observing their careful movements invites viewers to adopt a slower pace, deepening relaxation and connection to the environment. Textures across the plains and river networks are varied and immersive. Smooth river surfaces reflect lava and moonlight, while cooled lava ridges create contrast with jagged edges. Moss-covered rocks and fog-softened hills enhance depth and perspective. Subtle highlights from reflected light shimmer across leaves, water droplets, and stone surfaces, adding layers of detail. The interplay of textures, combined with continuous motion, encourages the viewer to explore the scene meditatively, absorbing its hypnotic patterns at a gentle, unhurried pace. Colors throughout this section maintain balance and tranquility. Warm oranges and reds of lava soften against the silvery blues of moonlit rivers, while greens and muted browns of vegetation provide grounding tones. Fog diffuses light, creating gentle gradients that soothe the eye. Subtle reflections in water and wet surfaces introduce dynamic interest, enhancing cinematic depth without overstimulation. This carefully orchestrated palette supports a sleep-friendly, relaxing visual experience. The sounds of the landscape continue to reinforce immersion. The flowing rivers and widening streams murmur softly, faint hissing of cooling lava emerges intermittently, leaves rustle gently in the night wind, and distant nocturnal calls punctuate the calm. Fog moving over water and vegetation produces an almost imperceptible whisper that blends seamlessly into the soundscape. These layered auditory elements synchronize with visual motion, helping viewers relax, slow their breathing, and sink deeper into the meditative flow of the mountain valleys. The combined interaction of rivers, lava streams, fog, wind, trees, and nocturnal wildlife forms a slow, continuous rhythm. Streams twist and merge, lava flows snake across plains, fog drifts and layers over hills, and creatures move with quiet precision. Every element is synchronized, producing a cinematic, hypnotic choreography that encourages deep observation, calm focus, and relaxation. The landscape feels alive yet serene, guiding viewers through the nocturnal mountain ecosystem at a gentle, immersive pace. By the end of this section, the wider river networks, extending lava streams, fog layering over distant valleys, and subtle nocturnal wildlife interactions have created a richly layered, cinematic, and sleep-friendly tableau. The hypnotic rhythm of movement, light, texture, and sound encourages deep relaxation, meditative focus, and a sense of connection with the patient, persistent forces of nature. This foundation sets the stage for the next sections, which will explore nighttime wind around mountains, snow patches, distant hills, and subtle nocturnal life, maintaining the immersive cinematic sleep-friendly experience. As the night deepens further, cool mountain winds sweep across ridges and valleys, bending tree branches and carrying the faint, crisp scent of snow from distant peaks. The breeze flows gently yet persistently, weaving through fog that drifts lazily over hills and valleys, creating layers of soft, shifting shadow. Snow patches, nestled in quiet nooks and along higher slopes, catch subtle moonlight and residual lava glow, forming delicate contrasts of white against the muted browns and greens of the mountains. The scene is hypnotic, each element moving slowly, almost imperceptibly, in a continuous, meditative rhythm. Fog drifts over distant hills and along valley floors, curling around tree canopies and cascading over rocks. Its motion softens edges and blends colors, merging silvery moonlight with warm highlights from cooled lava. Shadows of trees and distant slopes stretch and shift as the wind moves the mist, creating a layered cinematic depth that draws the viewer's gaze across the landscape. Every swirl and curl of fog encourages gentle observation and deep relaxation, making the valleys appear expansive yet intimate under the nocturnal sky. The mountain winds rustle leaves and moss softly, adding a subtle percussion to the valley's nocturnal symphony. Branches sway in measured, fluid arcs, while grasses ripple gently across slopes. The combination of wind, fog, and swaying vegetation forms a continuous, hypnotic choreography, enhancing the cinematic flow of the scene. Observers can feel a gentle rhythm, syncing their breathing to the slow, deliberate motions of the mountain environment. The interplay of motion and stillness fosters a deep sense of calm and presence. Snow patches scattered along higher slopes reflect moonlight and faint lava glow, creating soft, contrasting highlights amid darker rocks and trees. Small drifts catch the wind, producing tiny, almost imperceptible movements as powdery flakes settle or shift. The combination of snow, fog, and moonlight forms a gentle visual rhythm that is engaging yet soothing, reinforcing the cinematic, sleep-friendly tone of the landscape. Observing these subtle contrasts enhances focus and invites meditative attention. Nocturnal wildlife continues its measured activity, moving quietly through snow patches, riverbanks, and fog-laden valleys. Small mammals navigate carefully along cooled lava and moss-covered stones, while insects trace slow, deliberate paths across leaves and branches. Birds glide silently overhead, their dark silhouettes punctuating the moonlit fog. Each creature interacts harmoniously with the environment, reinforcing the patient, rhythmic pulse of the nocturnal mountain ecosystem. Observing their quiet, deliberate movements promotes a meditative connection to the slow processes of nature. Textures across the mountains and valleys are rich and varied. Smooth snow contrasts with jagged cooled lava ridges, reflective river surfaces, moss-covered rocks, and drifting fog. Highlights from moonlight and residual lava glow shimmer across surfaces, while shadows of trees, hills, and distant slopes move subtly with the wind. The interplay of these textures encourages careful, slow observation, drawing the viewer into a cinematic, hypnotic experience. Every small movement, from a drifting snowflake to a ripple in a river, adds layers of dynamic detail. Colors are balanced to maintain calm and visual serenity. Silvery blues of moonlight mingle with soft oranges and reds of residual lava glow, while whites of snow patches and muted greens and browns of vegetation provide grounding contrast. Fog diffuses light, creating gentle gradients and soft transitions between shadow and highlight. Reflections on rivers and wet surfaces introduce subtle points of interest, enhancing cinematic depth without overwhelming the senses. The palette supports a sleep-friendly, immersive visual experience. Sounds in this section enhance the meditative atmosphere. The soft whisper of nighttime wind through trees, the faint murmur of rivers, the gentle rustle of leaves and grasses, and the subtle movement of nocturnal wildlife combine into a layered, hypnotic auditory experience. The wind carries faint echoes across valleys, while snow patches subtly alter sound as creatures move nearby. These sounds synchronize with visual elements, guiding viewers to slow their breathing, focus gently, and immerse themselves in the patient rhythms of the nocturnal mountains. By the end of this section, the nighttime wind weaving around mountains, snow patches, drifting fog over distant hills, and subtle nocturnal wildlife activity have created a richly cinematic, immersive tableau. The hypnotic interplay of movement, texture, light, and sound fosters deep relaxation, meditative observation, and a sense of connection with the persistent rhythms of nature. The valleys feel alive yet serene, setting the stage for the final sections, which will explore snow-covered peaks, night winds across high ridges, distant fog-filled landscapes, and the concluding nocturnal life, maintaining the sleep-friendly cinematic experience. High above the valleys, snow-covered peaks rise silently against the starry night sky. Their icy summits glisten with silvery moonlight, casting a serene glow across distant ridges and slopes. Thin streams of residual lava below offer faint warm highlights, contrasting with the cool white and silver of snow and frost. The peaks stand still yet alive, embodying the slow, deliberate rhythm of the mountains. Watching their majesty encourages quiet reflection, each glimmer of light or shadow shifting gently as the night wind flows across the high ridges. The nighttime wind moves steadily across these elevated ridges, bending scattered trees and brushing against rocky outcrops. Its flow carries the soft chill of snow and the distant scent of vegetation, weaving patterns that ripple down slopes and into fog-laden valleys. The wind bends the fog into delicate curtains that drift over distant hills, filling low valleys with soft, rolling layers. Each gust and swirl of mist creates subtle motion, a slow, hypnotic rhythm that complements the still grandeur of the snow-covered peaks and mirrors the movement of rivers and lava far below. Fog drifts through the valleys, curling around tree trunks, rocks, and distant slopes, softening edges and blending moonlight with residual lava glow. Layers of mist create depth and perspective, making the landscape feel expansive yet intimate. Shadows of distant peaks stretch and shift as the wind moves, creating cinematic depth that draws the eye along the contours of the mountains. The interplay of fog, snow, and light forms a visual cadence that encourages gentle observation and deep relaxation, allowing the viewer to feel immersed in the nocturnal environment. Nocturnal wildlife continues its quiet rhythm, moving subtly through valleys, riverbanks, and forested slopes. Small mammals navigate cautiously along snow patches and cooled lava ridges, pausing to drink from rivers or inspect fog-laden foliage. Birds glide silently overhead, landing briefly on high branches or rocky outcrops. Insects trace deliberate paths across leaves, moss, and stone surfaces. Each movement is gentle yet purposeful, adding subtle layers of life and motion that enhance the hypnotic, cinematic atmosphere. Observing these quiet interactions encourages meditative focus and promotes sleep-friendly immersion. Textures across high ridges and snow-laden valleys are rich and layered. Smooth, reflective snow and ice contrast with jagged lava ridges, mossy stones, and drifting fog. Subtle highlights from moonlight and residual lava glow shimmer across surfaces, while moving shadows and swaying branches introduce gentle, dynamic motion. Small details, like shifting snowflakes, glistening icicles, or ripples on water surfaces, enhance the cinematic quality, inviting slow, meditative attention to the landscape. The continuous interplay of textures and motion fosters deep relaxation. Colors maintain balance for serenity and visual engagement. Silvery blues of snow and moonlight mix with soft oranges and reds of residual lava, while muted greens and browns of trees, moss, and rocks provide grounding contrast. Fog diffuses all tones into gentle gradients, softening sharp edges and creating smooth transitions between light and shadow. Highlights from reflective surfaces add dynamic interest, enhancing depth without overwhelming the senses. This carefully orchestrated palette supports a sleep-friendly cinematic experience. The soundscape reinforces the hypnotic atmosphere. The soft whisper of nighttime wind across high ridges, faint rustle of leaves, distant murmur of rivers, and subtle movements of nocturnal wildlife blend into a continuous auditory rhythm. Fog and snow subtly alter acoustics, muffling some sounds while emphasizing others, creating layered depth and texture. This synchronized auditory environment aligns with visual motion, guiding the viewer's breathing, attention, and mental rhythm in harmony with the natural nocturnal world. By the end of this section, the snow-covered peaks, nighttime wind across high ridges, drifting fog over distant valleys, and subtle nocturnal wildlife interactions have formed a cinematic, immersive, and sleep-friendly tableau. The interplay of motion, light, texture, and sound encourages deep relaxation, meditative focus, and a profound connection to the patient, deliberate rhythms of the nocturnal mountains. The landscape feels alive yet calm, preparing the viewer for the final section, where the journey will conclude with a harmonious blend of all elements experienced throughout the night. As the night nears its deepest hour, the entire mountain landscape unfolds in a grand, harmonious panorama. Snow-covered peaks rise silently against the starry sky, their silvery glow reflecting across distant ridges and valleys. Residual lava flows stretch along cooled ridges and plains, casting warm, diffuse highlights that blend softly with the silvery moonlight. Rivers, wide and narrow, meander through valleys and plains, reflecting both the moon and the lava glow. Fog drifts gently across low-lying areas, weaving between trees, moss-covered rocks, and snow patches. The scene is vast, cinematic, and serene, a symphony of natural elements moving in quiet, deliberate harmony. The nighttime wind sweeps across mountain ridges and valleys, flowing through tree canopies and rustling leaves in a gentle, rhythmic cadence. Its movement bends grasses, shakes branches, and carries the crisp scent of snow, earth, and vegetation. Fog dances along with the wind, softening edges and blending light and shadow into a layered, hypnotic visual tapestry. The interplay of wind, mist, and moving vegetation creates a dynamic yet calm environment, a continuous rhythm that invites viewers to slow their breathing and synchronize with the landscape's meditative pulse. Rivers converge, diverge, and cascade softly into pools, their surfaces shimmering with reflected light from both moon and lava. Each ripple moves with deliberate grace, creating patterns that are mesmerizing to watch. Waterfalls tumble gently into deeper valleys, forming plumes of mist that curl upward and blend seamlessly with the drifting fog. These subtle motions, repeated across multiple layers of the landscape, create a hypnotic cadence, reinforcing the cinematic flow while maintaining a tranquil, sleep-friendly atmosphere. Lava flows, cooled at the edges and glowing softly at the center, meander through valleys and plains, illuminating stones, snow patches, and vegetation with warm, flickering light. Thin rivulets snake through depressions, merging into larger flows, creating subtle contrasts with moonlit rivers and fog-draped hills. Observing the movement of molten rock alongside water and snow evokes a sense of timeless patience, a reminder of nature's persistent, deliberate rhythms. The interplay of fire, water, ice, and earth forms a cinematic tableau that is both grand and intimate, engaging yet profoundly calming. Snow patches scattered across slopes and high ridges catch the moonlight, producing soft silvery highlights that contrast beautifully with darker rocks, moss, and vegetation. The wind shifts snow delicately across these patches, forming tiny, almost imperceptible drifts and patterns. Fog curling over snow patches and distant valleys softens the scene further, blending textures and light into a seamless, immersive experience. This layering of elements creates a hypnotic depth, encouraging viewers to explore the landscape slowly with their eyes and mind, enhancing relaxation and sleep readiness. Nocturnal wildlife moves quietly throughout this nocturnal landscape. Small mammals traverse riverbanks, mossy rocks, and cooled lava surfaces with careful precision. Birds glide silently overhead, landing occasionally on fog-draped branches. Insects trace slow paths across leaves and stones, adding subtle motion to already gentle movements of water, lava, and wind. Each creature contributes to the hypnotic rhythm of the scene, reinforcing the balance between life and the natural forces that shape the mountain valleys. Observing these interactions fosters deep immersion, gentle focus, and a meditative connection to the nighttime environment. Textures across valleys, slopes, and ridges are rich and layered. Smooth river surfaces reflect moonlight and lava glow, jagged cooled lava ridges provide contrast, moss and snow add softness, and drifting fog blends all elements together. Branches sway, leaves tremble, and ripples form on water surfaces, creating continuous, gentle motion. Every detail, from glistening droplets to moving shadows, enhances cinematic depth, inviting viewers to absorb the hypnotic patterns with patience and calm, reinforcing a sleep-friendly visual rhythm. Colors across the landscape are balanced for serenity and visual harmony. Silvery blues of moonlight, warm oranges and reds of residual lava, muted greens and browns of vegetation, and pristine whites of snow patches blend seamlessly. fog softens contrasts and creates gentle gradients, while reflections on water and wet surfaces add dynamic interest without overwhelming the senses. The palette supports immersive cinematic observation, guiding viewers into deep relaxation and mindful engagement with the nocturnal mountainscape. The soundscape completes this grand nocturnal experience. Flowing rivers murmur continuously, waterfalls add soft percussion, leaves rustle gently in the nighttime wind, and subtle nocturnal calls echo across valleys. Faint hissing from cooling lava and the gentle whisper of drifting fog enhance auditory depth, creating a multi-layered, hypnotic sound environment. Each sound synchronizes with visual motion, helping viewers slow their breathing, focus gently, and sink into the meditative rhythm of the night. By the end of this final section, the combined elements of snow-covered peaks, flowing rivers, lava flows, wind patterns, drifting fog, and nocturnal wildlife have created a cinematic, immersive, and sleep-friendly conclusion. The hypnotic interplay of movement, light, texture, color, and sound fosters deep relaxation, meditative observation, and a profound connection with the persistent, patient rhythms of nature. The nocturnal mountain landscape feels alive yet calm, offering viewers a complete journey through a serene, hypnotic, and cinematic world, perfectly suited to sleep, relaxation, and mindful immersion.